Continues in the Middle East, with Iran launching a new wave of attacks as Israel hits targets in Lebanon.
Underground missile storage and missile launchers around the country. Well, the United States, according to the Pentagon briefing on Wednesday, says that it is now ending its broad campaign and is now going after a far more targeted strike throughout the country. We've also been given an update that from Iranian officials that the death toll in the country now sits at 1,100 as Iran itself continues to fire missiles around the region through the Gulf nations. But also this morning, there is reports that an Iranian drone struck the airport in Azerbaijan along with a government building.
The sky over Tehran is no longer dark. It is a bruised purple, illuminated by the rhythmic, terrifying orange glow of anti-aircraft fire and the blinding white flashes of precision-guided munitions. This isn't a localized skirmish or a symbolic exchange of threats anymore. This is the full-scale realization of a regional nightmare. Before we dive into the staggering details of this escalating conflict, the casualties on the ground, and the political firestorm in Washington, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Staying informed is the only way to navigate the chaos of these developing stories, and we will bring you every update as it breaks. The military landscape of the Middle East shifted fundamentally this week as Israel moved from targeted assassinations to a massive, multi-front aerial campaign. For years, the shadow war between Jerusalem and Tehran was fought in the margins: cyber attacks, mysterious warehouse fires, and proxy clashes. That era ended abruptly when Israeli jets swarmed the airspace over the Iranian capital. In a display of air superiority that has stunned military observers, Israeli forces successfully engaged and shot down an Iranian fighter jet in a rare dogfight over the outskirts of Tehran. This isn't just about destroying infrastructure, it's about a total dismantling of Iran's ability to defend its own sovereign skies. Simultaneously, the Israeli Defense Forces have expanded their operations into Lebanon, striking deep into Hezbollah's strongholds to decapitate the command and control structures that have long served as Iran's first line of defense. The scale of these sorties is unprecedented, involving hundreds of aircraft and a relentless tempo that suggests Israel is seeking a decisive conclusion rather than a temporary stalemate. Back in Washington, the political atmosphere is just as volatile as the battlefields of the Levant. President Donald Trump has taken to the national stage to defend the United States' direct entry into the spiraling conflict. Addressing the nation from the Oval Office, the president characterized the decision to launch U.S. strikes as a necessary preemptive measure. According to the administration, intelligence gathered over the last 48 hours indicated that Iran was not merely posturing, but was in the final stages of preparing a catastrophic first strike against American assets and regional allies. Trump's rhetoric has been uncompromising, framing the intervention as a choice between a proactive defense and a reactive tragedy. He argued that waiting for the first blow would have been a dereliction of his duty to protect American lives, asserting that the best way to prevent a wider world war was to hit Iran's offensive capabilities before they could be deployed. This strike-first doctrine has reignited a fierce national debate over the definition of defense and the limits of executive power in the modern age. Reinforcing the administration's stance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spent the last 24 hours dismissing claims that the United States was dragged into this war by its Israeli counterparts. Rubio has been adamant that the decision to engage Iranian targets was an independent American choice, driven strictly by U.S. national security interests. He pointed specifically to Iran's advanced ballistic missile capabilities, which have seen significant technological leaps in the last year. Rubio argued that these missiles, capable of reaching across the region and potentially beyond, posed an existential threat that the U.S. could no longer afford to ignore. By framing the conflict around American security rather than Israeli solidarity, Rubio is attempting to insulate the White House from criticisms that it is acting as a proxy for Jerusalem. He stressed that the intelligence regarding Iranian intentions was verified through multiple American channels, painting a picture of a regime in Tehran that had become emboldened to the point of recklessness, leaving Washington with no responsible choice but to act.